Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now, today's episode, we're talking about Yotta savings and, as an extension, their credit card. So, of course, we'll cover, for the full Yotta program, how it works, and, of course, touch on the credit card as well, because really, again, you're not really going to want one without the other. So, we'll break them all down, come out on the other end of this, figuring out if this is kind of a formidable banking product where you can make a lot of money, or just another gimmicky game. So, of course, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, again, like I said, we're going to talk about the credit card. There'll be chapters, tools down below if you're just here for one part or the other, but really before we can get into the credit card, you kind of have to understand how Yotta works as a whole, because it's not really a credit card that you would get if you didn't like their banking product, right? So again, you want to skip ahead down below. So with that though, Yotta Savings, what is it? How does it work? Well, really, Yotta was kind of founded back in 2019. You guys probably remember it got really big on YouTube. We actually have some, of our own YouTube brethren here, who are invested with Yotta. I think Ask Sebi was, I think Graham Stephan as well, right? But the deal is, Yotta, what they're trying to do is almost, I'm going to call it a gamification of savings, right? So generally, savings accounts work, particular way. You put in your money, it sits there, and then you get a level of interest back on it. If you can go with, someone like an Ally or something like that, you're going to do better. If you go someone with the major Power 5 in banking, Chase, Bank of America, you're basically going to get nothing, right? So that's the first piece. They're going to try to offer a level of higher, more competitive interest, and we'll look at that. Now, the other part here, though, is that they're taking a look at the lottery. Now, not specifically, the U.S. lottery, but kind of you have to understand how the lottery works, over in the U.K. So over here in the States, to start, though, what they're saying is, hey, there's a ton of people who play the lottery all the time, and in fact, it ends up being quite a bit of money spent on the lottery. In fact, according to just from their homepage, they're saying, hey, Americans as a whole spend about $80 billion on the lottery every year. It's about $640 per household. Now, I've never actually personally bought a lottery ticket, but I can tell you that I grew up with parents who love to play the lottery. They'd buy a few tickets every week. Coworkers always have pools, things like that. So those numbers, I could see that being accurate. So the problem with the lottery, of course, is, you buy a ticket, you pick, there's various versions, right? But the gist of it is you buy your ticket for whatever, scratch off, Powerball, whatever it is. And then, if you win, great, but it's probably unlikely that you're going to win. But if you lose, which is more likely, then you're just out that money. So again, that $640 number a year they're talking about is just gone, right? So what if you could combine both? You could combine savings in the format of the lottery. And to get this idea, what they did was they looked overseas, again to the UK, to figure out, to basically borrow from how they play. So let's take a look at their version of the lottery, and then we'll talk about how it fits into this financial product over here in the States. And so overseas, they have what we call premium bonds. So it's a lottery bond issued in the UK by the government. They started this way back in 1956. Now, again, opposed to playing the lotto by spending money with a chance to win, players save money via bonds, then the interest earned on the bonds is distributed as the lottery. So the bonds are entered in a monthly drawing, and then the government, of course, promises to buy them back on request at their original price. So again, you're not out of your money. That's kind of how it ends up being, like a savings account. And so there you have it. You can kind of see how their lottery differs from our lottery. In our lottery, again, you buy the ticket. It's a one and done, right? If you fail, you need to buy another ticket. What they're saying is basically, hey, over in the UK, you're buying bonds, interest rate, bonds earned interest, but again, that's more of like a pool, and then you can, each bond that you have is almost like a ticket, and that they kind of base how much interest you're going to win. You get like some level of base interest plus, some more if you win versus if you don't, right? But again, because as long as you own the bond, your tickets keep going, right? That's kind of how the savings works. And so that's kind of what Yotta is doing. They're taking the best of both worlds here, adding gamification. So let's take a look at this now and bring it all home, because it'll make more sense. So again, we said this is a savings account. So to start, again, you're going to buy in by depositing money into Yotta, and you're going to get a base savings rate, a base interest rate, if you will. So again, this is from their site. At the time I grabbed this screenshot, it was the 4th of September. So again, you can see Yotta Savings Reward at the top here. And of course, they're adding in, prizes, 1.5% average on prizes. And of course, they have the prizes over on the right. The weekly, you could range anywhere from a cent all the way up to $10 million. You hit the jackpot, and we'll talk about that. Now, of course, if you go down the list here, they've pulled the Power 5 of banking, Wells, Chase, Citi, Bank of America. And of course, obviously, they don't have any prizes. Now, again, they did pick their options, right? Because, Ally Bank would be the first one that you go to for high interest rate. Wealthfront, people like that are noticeably left off the list. So just keep that in mind, right? But again, you're getting that base plus the prizes. So here we have it. How does this work? Well, the tickets are the first part to start with. So, in the UK example, they had bonds. We don't have bonds. We have tickets, sticking with a lottery theme. So if you were to deposit $25, you're going to get one reoccurring ticket, and that's up to that's on balances of $25,000 or less. Now, if you had a balance greater than $25,000 and you deposited $150, you would get two reoccurring tickets. Again, recurring tickets means, as long as you have that $25 on deposit, you have that ticket. So even, let's just say you didn't win, the drawing that they're going to do, right? Your ticket doesn't expire like a regular lottery ticket does. It's good for another drawing. So you effectively didn't throw that money away on a lottery ticket because, again, you could withdraw your $25. You would just lose a ticket for the next drawing. So we talked a lot about drawings now. So what is that about? Well, in-app, of course, there's weekly drawings, right? So what you're going to need to do is pick 7 numbers for each ticket, right? So, deposit, if you had $50 on deposit, you have 2 tickets, 14 numbers. You're trying to pick 6 regular numbers plus 1 Yotta ball, kind of like our Mega Millions Powerball type deal, I guess. Or if you don't pick, the app will auto-select for you, so you're never just going to miss it because you forgot. Now, 1 number is drawn per night. They're calling it Monday through Sunday is their week. The more numbers you match, the more you win, right? Just kind of like the lottery. So if you match all 7 on one ticket, you could win the $10 million jackpot, which would be pretty sick. Now, of course, you're like, how is this not rigged? Well, they do have a third-party company. They kind of oversees the drawing, so to make sure it's not, not rigged. Now, in addition to that, what else can you get? So, they have prizes, right? It's kind of how they put it. Again, it's a lottery on win prizes. So if you go to their homepage here, you can see some of the most recent prizes. You can see the amounts that folks are winning. You can see all those happy people down there. In fact, there was even like a video where a guy won like a Tesla, family won a Tesla or something like that. So, they have prizes like that. I can't guarantee they're going to have like a Tesla every single time. At one point, I think they used to have a list of prizes. I couldn't find a list on their site anymore, honestly. But again, you can kind of scroll through here and see it. Again, the gist of it is they're trying to show you that real people do win doing this. So the last question you might have is the odds. Now, I got these odds from dollarflow.com. They did a review on Yotta. So here's what they're saying. What are your odds? So no matching Yotta ball on the left, matching Yotta ball on the right. So you can go down and see. I mean, obviously it gets substantially more difficult when you want to get the 6 out of 6 and get the jackpot, as you would imagine. But those are some odds. Again, you can pause and take a look at that if you're thinking about playing. So overall, there's a lot going on there. That is Yotta's savings account as a whole, right? So quick recap if you need it. If you don't, move on to the next slide here. What we're doing is we're basically saying, hey, look, we have the American lottery. Cool, people like that. It's gamification. We know that gamification works. I mean, Apple uses gamification on their rings to close fitness. Robinhood used to do was scratching off, the tickets to get their free stock, things like that, right? So we know people like gamification. But with the lottery here, people love to play, but it's basically a waste of money. It's very hard to win. Again, I've never bought a ticket. I'm not a fan of it. So, what they're saying is instead of buying the ticket, you'll deposit the money that will get you a ticket. And the tickets are reoccurring so long as you leave your money on deposit. And then we're going to have weekly drawings. And again, we get enough people, we can offer, that base rate interest. So you're still getting something. And then you can have the chance to match prizes and get even more savings. And that combined with the base rate should be more money that you would earn here than some of the competitors that they listed. Debatable on whether it be more than an Ally Bank or not, right? I'm using them as the example because I have them. At the time of taping, you got to remember we're in late 2022, so interest rates are starting to tick back up. So it's something you have to keep in mind. But again, you can kind of see the quick summary there of how this is working. So, of course, they have a credit card as well. I mean, they have a debit card, but you probably want the credit card, right? So let's take a look at that. Let's put it all together with some final thoughts. So here we have it, Yotta Card. So no annual fee. Your benefits here, there's not going to be multipliers or anything like that, but you're talking about lucky swipes. So really they're saying is you get a 2% chance to get your next purchase covered. And then you get a 20% chance with Lucky Deal merchants. So there are some merchants that they partner with, and you use one of those merchants, your chances go up 18% to 20% to get that purchase covered. Now, in addition to that, bonus tickets. So bonus tickets, you get basically to that $10 million sweepstakes with every $5 spent. So again, if you're looking for a way to get more tickets, you can do it on the savings, and of course you can do it on the spending as well. For every $5, you're going to get bonus ticket. And that is greatly going to increase your odds. Again, you can go back to the odds chart. You can probably do out the math to see. And so there we have it. That is the full credit card. Now, of course, now you see why we had to put the credit card at the end, because again, if you don't like what Yotta Savings is offering as a product, then the credit card is definitely not going to be for you. There's no reason to get this card if you're not, heavily using the Yotta Savings program. So put it all together. Final thoughts. What do we think? Well, I think the credit card is pretty well integrated into it. I actually like, I like when you obviously are trying to increase the ecosystem, right? But I like when things are well integrated, and it makes sense versus some kind of like bolt-on deal. It's, an afterthought just to get more customers. So I like that. You could definitely get some more savings there, or better increase your odds, I guess, with more tickets there with the credit card. Now, again, the thing to do here is probably going to go do the math. Some of it's going to be hard to do, right? Because the base APY you're going to get from Yotta, but again, how much you win kind of varies. And we saw the odds, but they're odds, right? You're not guaranteed to get that level. It's going to be variable how much you get, but on average, you should probably be getting more than, what you had with like an Ally or somebody like that. I would base it on, the high interest rate accounts. I wouldn't compare it to Chase and Wells Fargo, Bank of America. They're not going to be competitive. They're never going to be competitive, right? So overall, we know gamification, again, it does work. We kind of touched on it before. So if this encourages people to save and people find it fun, then I don't necessarily see a problem with it. I do think my biggest complaint here would be that their website doesn't make all this straightforward and to the point, right? It's kind of like, wait a minute, what's going on? I see all these happy people, all these people winning money, but I would think, given who's backing this on financial YouTube, there'd be like an embedded YouTube video that clearly explains how all of this works. Basically, I guess what we're trying to do now, right? Because it's a lot to understand to sell someone on, right? Like, wait a minute, what? Once you talk through it, it's like, okay, that makes sense. But there's a lot to explain and get people on board with it and then bring in the card. So I think some more clarity on the odds and percent chances of winning and things like that. But again, the regular Lotto doesn't really give you those either. So if that's their main competitor or, commonality with, then I guess why they don't do it. So overall, I don't necessarily think it's for me. I prefer to send my money out in like the bank account bonus world, go hunt bonuses with most of my savings, honestly. So I probably wouldn't have that much money to make it worth it for me to get that many tickets to play. But again, everyone I've talked to in the comments says, they've made quite a bit of money doing this and they really like it. So I think it's one of those things where you're honestly going to have to give it a chance for yourself and see what you like and track, how it's going for you. It's really, again, because it's odds based, it's really hard to say with any certainty how much you're going to get. It's kind of the point. But again, you'd have to sign up, try it out maybe for a month, see how you like it. I think that's the best recommendation I can give at this point. Then if you like it, then consider getting the credit card. But again, for me, the credit card, I would still say you're probably better off building out a really strong cash back setup versus trying to only use the Yotta card to get more tickets. That would be my best guess. But again, the cool part of this, you have to play around with it and see. So I'll leave it there and kick it to you guys, though. For you guys who use Yotta Savings, or the card, let us know down below, what you've been able to do. If you're comfortable sharing, what your streaks are like, how it goes on a monthly basis. I'd really be interested to hear your thoughts on that. And if you're not, then let me know what other financial products you used, to manage your savings, bank account bonus, hunting, high interest rate accounts. Love to hear your thoughts on that. But anyways, guys, of course, if you liked this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, of course, consider subscribing to the channel. Posting content just like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. Again, let me know your experiences down below with Yotta, or if you're on the fence, drop your questions down below. I think you guys in the comments could really help some folks out make a good decision here. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. Talk to you very soon in the next one.